Hello everyone and welcome back to Spider-Man. We'll start off here by taking a picture of the Flatiron building right here. I believe that in the Raimi films the Flatiron building was used as the model for the Daily Bugle building, but I'm not quite sure. It definitely was a similar kind of triangular building.
New York's noisy, but my mask can zero in on muffled sounds. The kind that tied up...
Peter, I lost track of you at the party.
Yeah, I had to get to the lab. Sorry.
Don't apologize. I just wanted to tell you how much what you said meant to me. I always wonder if I'm doing right by you.
Well, stop wondering. After losing my parents and Uncle Ben, there are so many times I would have fallen apart if not for you.
Well, that works both ways, Peter. I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
May, I don't know what to say.
Oh, I think Mr. Lee needs my help. I should go. See you soon, dear. I love you.
Love you too.
Yeah, just a nice little conversation with Aunt May. Too bad we had to leave her early, but that's just how it goes.
Possible body heat signature in this area. Come on out. Stretch your legs. That was terrifying. Thank you.
They're the ones.
And yeah, all these kidnapping side missions are the exact same. You just isolate the these sounds of muffled voices and then just follow that until you find the guy in the trunk, and then when you free him, some enemies spawn and you have to beat them up, and yeah, that never changes. So yeah, some of these random crimes do have some permutations, but the kidnappings are pretty much always the same.
Glad I stopped that. Could have gotten ugly fast.
Yeah, so this episode we are going to be doing a bunch of the open world stuff. Just grabbing these collectibles here, the backpacks, and also opening up the rest of the map.
My underarm webs. Thought they might help me glide short distances, but they never really worked. Looked cool though.
Yeah, so the underarm webs were kind of a thing on Spider-Man's costume. They have shown up over the years. We also unlock the throw move, so we press the square button and then hold triangle to toss a guy in the direction we want it. But yeah, the underarm webs are kind of a thing in some of the comics. Most noticeably in the original Steve Ditko rendition of the character. They were really prominent in that, and I believe it was still in the 80s and 90s. The comic still had Spidey's suit with the arm webs, but I don't think any of the movies or the cartoons or any of that stuff had those. And also there's the throw move, just tossing a guy face first into a lamppost, because that is what we do. So yeah, plenty of tower action going to be happening in this episode. They're not very exciting, but might as well get them out of the way now. And while we are here, let's just grab a picture of the Daily Bugle building. And yeah, sometimes when you bust a drug deal, they will try to escape in the car. And I kinda like how I was actually able to take one of those guys down before he managed to get in the car. That was pretty cool. But basically this is just stopping one of the chases with the stolen cars and such, with the same animation and QTE at the end.
Me ever-loving stuffing at a dealer's is my anti-drug. Cops are coming. I've been on worse terms with them, but why take chances?
And that'll do it for all the towers in Hell's Kitchen.
Would you look at that? Half the crime tower's back up already.
When Spider Cop's on the job, come hell or high water, the job gets...
Nope, nope, nope. Nope.
She'd never admit it, but the chief was warming up to Spider Cop. His casual disregard for by-the-book thinking was a breath of fresh air. She'd come around. Someday.
Oh yes, Spider Cop is back. And yeah, we are halfway done with the towers at this point. I mean, there is only 12 of these around town. It's not like Assassin's Creed where you have like 75 of the bloody things and you have to just climb all over the place to activate them. And I mean, I did like that kind of stuff back in Assassin's Creed 2, but that was many years ago. So I appreciate that there aren't that many of these things here anymore, and we'll just grab a picture of the Lincoln Center while we are here.
You're dealing in not good. You guys said the bug was on vacation.
Hey, guys! You got prescriptions for this stuff?
How's that feel?
And yeah, getting hit by brutes still hurts quite a bit, and I should have probably invested in the suit mod that decreases melee damage, but whatever. You can also make these guys shoot each other if you avoid or dodge at the right time. And as the game was briefly telling you there in the text box on the side, you need 2 bars of focus to take down a brute with a finisher. Now of course we only have 1 bar at the moment, so that is a slight problem.
I understand we have another low-information caller who thinks we're better off thanks to Spike. Let's see if I can set her straight. You're on with J. Jonah Jameson.
I just want to say that I've never seen Manhattan so safe and peaceful. Compare what it was like when Spider-Man first showed up to now.
Okay, fair enough, I will. Then, we had police and firefighters doing a wonderful job. There was crime, sure, but nothing they couldn't handle. Of course, we do have things now we didn't have then. Maniacs who shoot electricity out of their eyes, walking piles of sand, Nazis made of bees!
Didn't Spider-Man put all those guys in jail?
You're missing the point! They didn't exist before he came along. At best, he attracts them. But I've often wondered if they're in cahoots.
Wow, I've never actually heard anyone say cahoots before. Look, all I'm saying is, I'd hate to imagine what would have happened if all those guys showed up and Spider-Man wasn't here.
Another lost cause. Goodbye.
Now, Nazis made of bees is not actually something ridiculous that Jonah came up with for his rant. No, Swarm is actually a supervillain that has appeared in the Marvel Comics universe for 4 decades now. And I don't think I ever actually realized that he was supposed to be a Nazi, but yeah, apparently he is. But yeah, he's just a guy made out of bees and a cape.
One of these days I'll work out a fabric that warps sound and light waves. A stealth suit would really come in handy. shut the... More crooks? This fight's going viral.
I was wondering what was taking these guys so long.
I can't believe what I'm seeing!
At this point, there isn't really any particular reason for me to be showing this fight because, I mean, these are pretty much the same
Gotta give that wheelman props. Manhattan rush hour is no joke.
every time, but I mean, if I didn't sprinkle in some fights in this video, it would just be, you know, us collecting backpacks and fixing towers, and that would be more than a little bit boring, so I figured that we might as well just have some fisticuffs in there as well for that well-rounded Spider-Man experience. And the dread marker over there was a Fisk hideout, and we will be taking a look at those, or taking down more of those later on. But for now, let's just grab this.
Gotta have something to do on stakeouts.
Well, that is... well, it's not an exact replica, but that is obviously supposed to be a PlayStation Vita. And I'm not entirely sure why they didn't just use a PlayStation Vita for this, because, I mean, this game was published by Sony and all that. I guess it would have been unrealistic because, I mean, nobody owns a PlayStation Vita. I might actually have one, but never mind.
Try hitting me. Spoiler, I hit back. Live by the beatdown, die by the beatdown.
You were just in time. They were like animals.
And yeah, the Web Blossom suit power just makes quick work of these basic muggings and such, and we'll just survey the results of the fight. And those guys did kind of seem to be melting together, which is slightly worrying. But I suppose that if they fuse together and create a new mutant supervillain, I guess we can always take them down. Another mugging going on, so let's just break that up. And I also gotta say that I am really liking the off-the-wall bounce attack, and I should try to work it into my more regular moveset, I suppose, because it's really useful actually. It can knock people down and all that, so yeah, should be using that a little bit more.
Always nice to stop a mugging. Gotta stay strong in the fundamentals.
Get ready, folks, because this is a bombshell. We have on the line a lady whose husband was kidnapped by Spider-Man.
What? No, you've got it all wrong. My husband was kidnapped by criminals who shoved him into the trunk of a car. Spider-Man found him and got him out, then arrested the criminals when they came back.
Pardon me, ma'am, I didn't hear that last part over my intern's utter incompetence. You realize, of course, that it's possible Spider-Man arranged the kidnapping so he could save your husband and grab all the glory?
Huh, that seems like a lot of trouble to go to when he could just stop actual crimes.
It's clear we are at an impasse. My best to you and your husband, madam. Jared, go to commercial, then fire yourself. Then rehire yourself before the commercial ends. But no, your job hangs by a thread. If I paid you, I'd cut your salary in half.
Well, I sure am glad that semi-retirement hasn't affected Jonah's sunny disposition, which we all love so much. And since there is a backpack right over here, we might as well just go pick it up right now.
Squad cars are in pursuit of a vehicle refusing to pull over. Additional officers report to Spanish Harlem.
Oh yeah, that blind guy gave me his card in case Spider-Man ever needs a lawyer. Wait, hold on. If he's blind, how did he know I was Spider-Man?
And yeah, obviously Nelson and Murdoch refers to Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock, the latter of whom is of course the blind guy Spidey mentions and also happens to be Daredevil.
People, I always thought Spider-Man was a few geese short of a gaggle, but this confirms it. As if that atrocious white spider wasn't enough, I've had repeated sightings of him in a new outfit. Some sort of punk rock-inspired thing that makes sane people want to tear out their eyeballs with a rusty spoon. Now, I was around for the birth of punk rock, and I did not care for it then. It's a flagrant declaration of disrespect for authority, and if Spider-Man is going down that route... Oh, no, I just had a terrifying thought. What if this isn't the Spider-Man we know, but some sort of metal mohawk-wearing copycat? What if there's more than one? Jared, go to break. I need to lie down.
Yet Jameson doesn't really seem like the kind of guy who would have been seen at a Ramones concert at the CBGBs back in the 70s. And he apparently does not approve of our Spider-Punk suit. And sadly, that is actually the only one of the alternate suits that he has a comment on.
Wish I knew who made this comic about me. Kid's got a future.
Yeah, I believe that these children's drawings that show up in some of these collectibles, yeah, they were actually drawn by some of the kids of the actual developers. And that mystery man there in the silhouette, that would seem to be a man in some sort of a rhino suit. I wonder who that might be.
Nailed it.
And over here in the museum mile, we of course have the MMOCA, as well as the Guggenheim right here, so let's grab some commemorative photos.
Masked up
report of a
peace.
possible narcotics sale. Location is Museum Mile. Over.
And that drug deal that the police dispatch was talking about just actually never popped up. I believe that if you kind of do an open world event right at the same time as you are doing, or as the police dispatch thing pops up, the crime just never happens. I think that is actually a glitch. Not sure though, but speaking of glitches...
Possible body heat signature in this... Easy, I've got you.
Oh God, thank you. I do not like small spaces. Not again. There they are!
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be an open world game without some jank.
Screwing up my meal ticket.
Overall, of course, this is a remarkably polished game. But sometimes stuff like that might happen.
Oh man, I meant to wash this gym shirt 6 years ago. P.U.
And that is an impressively gross looking shirt, and looks like you could beat up a bear with that. Just club it to death. Just a couple more towers to go.
Attention units, there is a reported narcotics sale in progress.
Hey, my first camera. I got this at a yard sale. Still uses film. Okay, I think I'm gone.
Okay, so here I was busting up a drug deal and this guy just kind of fell off the roof, so I had to hunt him down.
Nothing puts
Yeah, that
a pep in
happens
my step
sometimes.
like halting an illegal drug deal.
And that I do believe is the final tower. The one closest to the mission marker actually.
And that's that. Every crime tower in the city's now repaired.
Pretty good work, right?
Pretty good, yeah.
Good enough that maybe you'd let a certain someone celebrate with us?
Fine, but make it quick.
The odds were long, the danger close. But between Spider Cop's reckless intuition and the Chief's determined planning, they got the job done.
Aw, that's kind of sweet.
A pairing of opposites. Like peanut butter and chocolate, or breakfast for dinner. The two work together.
And we're done. Talk to you later, Spider Cop.
She's coming around, right? Yeah, definitely.
Yep, Spider Cop gets the job done. And we are right at the mission marker, so...
Better find a back way in.
Attention unit. We have an armed robbery in a commercial area.
Well, before we call it an episode, I guess we could go bust up another one of these robberies. Right next door. Hello, boys.
Guys! Guns to the face is not proper consumer etiquette! Ah!
Now, fighting inside the store is usually a pretty bad idea because there is not much room to evade or maneuver in general. As you can see, we get clobbered a couple of times there, but those guys got taken down at least, and of course their friends decide to show up as well. So let's just say hello to them as best we can. Now I gotta admit that the camera in these fights is sometimes a bit of a problem. It doesn't automatically turn as quickly as you probably would hope. But I mean, I am a veteran of Ninja Gaiden Black, so I can deal with some crappy cameras. And for the most part, it works okay. And we just broke that fire hydrant with that guy's face. I'm sure he's perfectly okay and not dead in the slightest. So we had some issues getting stuck on some geometry, but never mind. So let's just swing our way to this rooftop and then call it a day. I will see you next time.